Hello and welcome to Tuesday Tip PCOS. I'm Robin Nielsen with Insulite Health, and it's so great to be here with you today. I would love to hear where you're calling in from or where you're joining in from. I'm so used to doing a call that I'm just getting used to doing these videos, so I always say calling in, but you're watching this. It's so great. So where are you joining in from? Would love to hear from you. So today's Tuesday tip is all about naturally eliminating acne for clear, beautiful skin. And I'm really excited to share this topic with you because it's very near and dear to my heart. So along with weight gain, acne was really my biggest health issue growing up. And I actually had acne from my teens all the way into my early 40s. I had figured out how to manage it, of course, but it was such a huge issue for me. And oh my gosh, when I was in junior high school and high school, it was debilitating. It was socially debilitating. I was always embarrassed by it. I had social anxiety. I didn't go to a lot of functions because I didn't feel good about myself. I had acne on my face. I had acne on my chest. I had acne on my back. So I always wore tops that were high. As a result, and I never wore anything backless. I was, ashamed and embarrassed to wear a bathing suit. You name it. It was really hard for me. And so acne is really the main reason why I became a functional nutritionist, why I became an integrative health care practitioner at all, was because I needed to solve my acne problem. So if that's what it took, I'm so glad, because I'm really happy to be here to support you. So Rachel calling in from Australia, so cool, welcome. And Jennifer from Canada, welcome Jennifer. Larvi, is that correct? Or larval from the Philippines, oh my goodness, welcome. And Ren from the Philippines, so awesome, welcome, so great to have you here. Please be sure to like this and share it with your friends. The more that we can get the word out, the better. So naturally healing is the most important thing, because in that way we really take care of our bodies in a really big way. All right, so I'm going to jump right in here. And if you have any questions about acne, I would love to hear your questions. If you have any comments on what has helped you, that would be fabulous for you to share. I'd like to keep medications out of the picture because those don't really support our bodies very well. But if you have natural solutions for PCOS, I'd love to hear from you. How have you cured your acne, or how have you healed your skin in a natural way? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So I actually have a beautiful guide that I created called the PCOS Acne Solution, and I will share that with you towards the end of the broadcast today. I have to look it up, though. I forgot to look it up before our call. So I will definitely do that so that you have access to it. It's $7. So it's kind of a no-brainer if you're suffering from PCOS. And Susie from Idaho, welcome. So great to see you here. Awesome, awesome. All right, so again, go ahead and post your comments, post your questions. Would love to hear from you. So I'm just gonna jump right in here. So, acne is really much more than a skin condition. And the reason it's that way, and of course I've lived it, is because it can really affect your confidence. It can affect a person's self-esteem. It causes embarrassment. It leads to social anxiety and depression. It can really cause psychological distress in a really big way. And I know this because I lived it, right? And some women, so, I had acne in my teens and all the way up into my early 40s. And I remember I was surfing with a girlfriend of mine as I was trying to figure out like the last piece of the puzzle. Like I had my skin, pretty clear, but there was still just a little bit left that I had to do. And every once in a while, I think I would have just a little flare up. And I remember like strategizing with her. I think it's a liver thing. I think there's a B vitamin component that happens in the liver. And I just remember getting pretty excited, like figuring all the pieces out. So my older son had acne worse than mine. His was a little bit more cystic. So it really affected our family in a big way. I know my father had really bad acne as a teenager as well. And so I think that my older son, and I know for myself, I inherited a lot of his genes around that. And so if you're someone like me who's had acne their entire lives, that's PCOS, right? You can pretty much say I have PCOS. Okay. So thank you for your posts. I see some posts coming in from Amber about keto, and that's so great. And you started your cycle. Oh my gosh, congratulations. Fantastic. Good for you. All right. So just make sure that you rotate the keto, Amber, so that you're not on keto all the time, because it can be pretty stressful on your body to go so low carb for so long. So 2 weeks on keto, 2 weeks off. Is important to do. But congratulations, very, very cool. All right, so eliminating acne is not an overnight process, but you can see really improved results in just a few days. I had to heal my gut. I had to balance my hormones before mine completely cleared up. But with just a few changes, you can notice some huge improvement. Supporting your internal health supports your external health. So kind of what's happening on the inside is happening on the outside. So if you're seeing things, come up for you on the outside of your body, whether you're 20 years old or whether you're 60 years old, right? You want to start paying attention, because, our blood vessels can be tightening, right? So if we're seeing a lot of wrinkles, for instance, or liver spots, or things on the outside, or acne, or hives, or psoriasis, or skin tags, right? Then we know that something's not right inside. So really important to support the inside. So, you might also be experiencing other symptoms, that come with acne. So kind of acne is like the tip of the iceberg, right? I'm just going to post some of these things as we go, because it's fun to see these as this replays. So acne is really just the tip of the iceberg. And for those of you with acne, you know what I mean. So, the acne is up here, and then down underneath the iceberg, right, are all these other symptoms, like this high level chronic inflammation. Maybe you have edema or swelling in places. I know my face would feel really hot. Maybe you have bloating or irregular menstrual cycles, or you had irregular menstrual cycles, or you suffered from infertility. Maybe you had some hair loss, or maybe you had some facial hair growth. So hair loss here on your head, and facial hair growth or hair growth on your chest or other parts of the body are a similar hormone pathway to acne. So it makes a lot of sense that you might experience these other things as well. Certainly brain fog, no libido, cravings. I had terrible cravings. I had horrible brain fog, and it was all really connected, but I just didn't know it. So, yeah. Big things to pay attention to. So we know that, if you're here, you're like me, PCOS is the #1 health condition that plagues women today. So 86% of women with PCOS will have some degree of acne, and it is really a driving factor in trying to figure out how to heal from symptoms of PCOS, and it certainly was for me. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to take charge of your acne today so that you can have the health and life you want. You don't have to, feel so self-conscious and avoid doing things that can really make your life great. So I just want to talk about there are 4 distinct stages in a woman's hormonal life, and this all comes back to hormones, right? So the first is puberty. The second is fertility, sort of our years pre-menopausal, right? And then the third is perimenopause. And perimenopause is, when our hormones really start to change a lot right before we head into post-menopause, when our cycle stops completely. So those distinct phases are important because you can actually experience acne at any one of those places because our hormones are shifting during those times. So your skin, right, is the largest communicating organ in your body. And acne is telling you that your cup of inflammation is overflowing. Okay, so I'm going to say acne is telling you that your cup of inflammation is overflowing. It's so nice that it tells me if I misspell something, okay? So acne is telling you that your cup of inflammation is overflowing. And your hormones are shifting all the time. The two hormones that play the biggest role in inflammation and keeping your other hormones balanced are, drum roll, right? Insulin and cortisol. So if you've perused our website at all, you know that I talk a lot about insulin, not quite as much about cortisol, but insulin comes up and cortisol comes up with it. So cortisol is our fight or flight hormone. It's also our daytime hormone. It's what wakes us up in the morning. It's what gives us energy during the day, right? And then at nighttime, it kind of dwindles a little bit because melatonin comes up. Whenever cortisol is up, insulin is up, because cortisol is our fight or flight hormone. Insulin is the hormone that it's the key that unlocks our cells to get sugar from our bloodstream into our cells to use as fuel, right? So if you're running from the tiger, you're stressed in any way, you've got to get things done, maybe you just have a super busy day, cortisol is going to be up a lot and insulin is going to be up right there with it so that you can keep running, right? So that you can keep running. So that's partly what causes insulin resistance, is that you've got too much stress going on. So these hormones play a huge role in skin health, and they're considered the big hormones. So they're the ones that we really need to pay attention to for clear, beautiful skin. Oftentimes we think that it's our sex hormones, right? Progesterone or estrogen or testosterone. And yes, they are super important, but they are influenced by our big hormones, cortisol and insulin. So I'm just going to put that here on the screen. The big hormones, cortisol and insulin. Does this make sense? Is this too complicated? Should I dumb it down a little bit, make it simpler? I'm always happy to do that. Hi, Hazel from the Philippines. Great to have you here. So I'd love to hear if this is, making some sense for you. All right, so so I'm going to go over right now some of the let's see. I want to go over some detours that can really cause big problems with acne. So you want to think blood sugar balance and stress management are really helpful to reduce inflammation and to improve skin, right? So in women with PCOS, our stress hormone cortisol tends to be higher than average, and insulin as well. So high cortisol and insulin levels over time can disrupt the way the body makes hormones by elevating testosterone and estrogen and reducing progesterone, which creates oxidative stress and a lot of inflammation. So the path to beautiful skin is paved with balancing these hormones, okay? So let's see. So I just want to bring up something to share with you here. All right, so I'd love to hear from you, like what your biggest health challenges around acne. Like, what is it that that is really bothering you with having acne? Is it like me? Is it a lot of embarrassment? Is it uncomfortable? What is it for you? So I want to go over some of the things that can really be the why you're having acne. So the first detour, I call it, the detour on the road to beautiful clear skin, is really poor nutrient status. So not having the raw materials to support all of the functions in your body. So we just got through doing the New Year's detox, and that was one of the things that we were supporting was really improved digestion, right? Because even just low stomach acid can cause skin breakouts in a really big way. Who would have thought that? Right? So you have to have really strong stomach acid. So that's what we did in the New Year's detox, is we really built up our stomach acid. And then, you have to have good fiber to absorb nutrients and to feed the beneficial bacteria and to get the toxins out. So, our bodies function poorly if we don't have the nutrients that we need to function well. And it could be from eating the wrong foods, poor digestion, toxin overload. Genetics play a really big role. Not enough of the right combination of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. So, sometimes we go too low carb, and that's really stressful. That raises cortisol. Sometimes we go too high carb, and that raises too much insulin. So cortisol comes up. So you've got to have just the perfect right amount. And that goes for nutrients too. And then poor soil and plant growing conditions really can decrease nutrient status. And a lot of it's not your fault, right? But knowledge is power. So I'm so glad you're here. And just learning what your body, needs to function properly to keep your blood sugar and your stress hormones balanced. It can make all the difference in how you feel. So you just want to make sure that you have, the right vitamins, minerals, proteins, fats, carbohydrates. So, if you suffer from the MTHFR, genetic SNP or single nucleotide polymorphism, which a lot of women with PCOS have, that could be sort of your deal breaker for beautiful skin, right? That's why it's in our nutrients. That's why we have methyl tetrahydrofolate in our nutrients, so that your pathways work correctly, so that you don't have the higher levels of inflammation that cause acne. The right forms of nutrients are really important. The right amounts of nutrients are really important. Detour number 2 on the road to beautiful, clear skin is the wrong foods and poor timing. So, anything that raises our hormone cortisol, our stress hormone cortisol, is going to really impact our skin health. And some of us really have a predisposition to acne, right? I am definitely one of those people. So you want to make sure that, you eat the right foods and that you time your eating correctly. So you want to eat for hormone balance, both what you put in and the timing of it, right? So processed or toxic foods, incorrect food combinations, too much caffeine can really drive inflammation. I know that the keto coffee is really big right now. But coffee really can cause a lot of hormone imbalance. So I think that you have to, decide what is going to be the most supportive for you and follow that route. Artificial sweeteners, NutraSweet, sucralose, things like that can really cause problems with acne. A too low or too high carbohydrate diet. Skipping breakfast, right? That is a big problem. Because that sets you up for higher levels of cortisol. So as soon as you, skip a meal, and not that you can't do intermittent fasting once in a while, but if you are out of balance hormonally, you got to be really, really careful, because skipping a meal tells your body that food is scarce, right? So metabolism is going to start to shut down. And that's exactly what's happening already. So you got to be really careful with that. Hypothyroidism, right, is a big cause of acne. And that was definitely an issue for me. So you don't want to shut down your metabolism any more than it already is. You want to boost your metabolism. Counting calories, that's a big bust for acne. Counting calories just means that you're taking in the wrong food. So if you have to count calories, you're just eating the wrong foods. I want to hold on just a second. So beautiful Rachel, was it right? No, sorry. Hold on just a second. Amber was talking about keto, right? And so in keto, you really focus on a lot of fats. So it's like 76% of your diet comes from fats. Fat fats are really high in calories, right? That's like the highest macronutrient in calories. So it's not about calories, it's about where your calories come from that has the biggest impact, right? So the faster you metabolize your food, your carbs, and your protein into glucose, the more your blood sugar spikes. And with PCOS, a lot of times we're insulin resistant, which means that we're having a hard time getting sugar into our cells already. It's kind of stuck in our bloodstream, and so we're storing it as fat because our body has to get it out of the bloodstream to protect the brain, right? So there are all these reasons why sort of our body is dysfunctional. And certainly a poor diet is one of them. And processed foods are super toxic, and they can be disguised as healthy, right? But they're super toxic, and they mostly come packaged. So if you're shopping the aisles of your grocery store, then not a good idea. If you're shopping the perimeters where all the produce is, and the great healthy meats, seafood, all of that sort of thing, you're much better off. There's no form of frosted mini wheats, lightly sweetened or full sugar that's going to be healthy, even if it says natural on it, right? It's just not going to be healthy for someone with PCOS. So, coffee, let's see. So if you must have coffee for whatever reason, you want to have it after breakfast so it doesn't influence your hormones in a stressful way, okay? So the next detour to beautiful skin is exercise that keeps us fat and tired, right? So I was the queen of under eating and then eating the wrong things and over exercising. So that also causes a lot of inflammation, raises cortisol, raises insulin, causes acne, okay? In fact, I can give you a really good example of this. I had a woman come to me after she had done the 30-day challenge at Hot Bikram Yoga, and she was absolutely exhausted. She was depleted, and her skin was breaking out in cystic acne for the very first time in her life ever. And she was freaked out and panicked, and basically she just stressed her body out too much. And we see this a lot in our community where women go to CrossFit, they start doing HIIT, they start doing some really intense exercise, and their skin starts breaking out. So just know that what that means is that it's not very supportive for you. Okay, so if the exercise is making your skin break out, you've got to change things up until you have that, until you have all the rest of your support in place so your body can handle it. There might be a time when you can handle it, but you just can't right now, okay? So I just wanted to read a few of the comments. So Maria Rita said, too much fat increased my acne, and on carbs, I'm better. I lost weight by eating potatoes, boiled every night. So actually boiling potatoes is a good way to eat them because they're resistant starch then. So good for you. That's awesome. And my acne actually gets a lot worse on a very high fat diet if I don't stick to the medium chain triglyceride fats, because I have the genetic SNP for fat metabolism. I can feel really inflamed really fast on eating a high fat diet, but it's the same thing for me on a high carb diet. So you have to be really, really careful. I just have to balance out my meals very carefully. Yeah, thank you, Maria Rita, for sharing that. And this is kind of long, but maybe I can show it. It'll take up the whole screen. So I have to say, last year I was full of it on one side of the jaw. It was related to too much diet okay. It was painful and got all swollen. Yeah, so you rested. Okay, great. Use some inositol, chasteberry plant. Yeah, you have to be careful. You definitely have to be careful because I'm so glad that your skin is clear and clean now. That's really fabulous. We have to find what's right for us, for sure. And it's not always, an easy path. So let's see, I wanted to, let's see here. So then detour number 4 is really cravings and willpower. So we learn that cravings are bad, but they're really just telling us that we need something, that we're out of balance and we need something. So, getting our cravings under control is really, really important for having clear, beautiful skin. And willpower is a finite resource, right? So if we get really good sleep, if we eat really well, then we have plenty of willpower. If we don't, we're in big trouble, right? Because we're going to have a lot of cravings and our willpower is going to go away. So that's where, just really eating the right foods for you and making sure that the timing is good can really help. And then detour number 5 is not having the support that you need. So I hear this a lot, right? It's a really lonely journey. I certainly had no support. I had terrible acne. The doctor's solution was antibiotics for me, and I didn't want to do antibiotics. So I ended up doing antibiotics, I think, for a short time when right before my high school graduation, because I really, really wanted to look pretty for that. But it was just for, I think, maybe just a month, because I knew way back then that it was really bad for me. So, so you want to just, you've got to be around people who can support you and who know what you're dealing with and can share what they have done to feel better. So it's really important to have a good support community. Detour number 6 is lack of sleep. So lack of sleep, the reason it's such a big deal with acne is because lack of sleep actually raises inflammation. So just the most modest amount of sleep restriction can raise inflammation a lot, and that can cause acne if you are prone to it. So just want to be really careful that you're not sleep deprived, because that can really cause some big acne problems. And then the last one is detour number 7, just too much stress. And stress comes in many different forms, and many that we're completely unaware of. Stress raises cortisol, and then that raises insulin, and that causes higher androgen levels, right? Higher male hormone levels and lower progesterone levels, and then that can lead to acne. So we have to be really careful. We have to look at our to-do lists. We have to look at how we're interacting with other people. Are we being kind? Are we being stressed? How is it that we're showing up every day? It's super important. You have a lot of control over that. So, let me just read through. I want to read through what I call the hormone deal breakers, because maybe 1 or 2 of these really ring true for you, and you can do something about it, right? So the hormone deal breakers for all of the symptoms of PCOS, and especially acne, are toxic food and body care products. Okay, poor digestion. Your digestion is not working just right. Toxic people in your life, right? Toxins come in all different forms, and it could just be someone in your life who is not supporting you, who causes a lot of stress, and who you'd probably be a lot healthier if they weren't such a big part of your life. A lot of times the people who are our family members, right, are sometimes the most toxic people. And we don't always like the people who we love. And so we just have to learn how to maybe limit our time with them, and how to have a more positive perspective when we're with them. Negative thoughts. So, right, what's between our ears? Just those negative thoughts can cause higher inflammation, higher stress. A toxic environment, even just household cleaning products like we learned in the New Year's Detox program. Alcohol. Alcohol is a really big hormone dysregulator. It's huge. So, alcohol is a hormone deal breaker. Coffee is a hormone deal breaker. Black tea could be. Food intolerances. So anything that you're reactive to, maybe you know it, maybe you don't, right? That's why the detox program is so helpful, because you get to identify those foods that are really toxic for you. Poor relationships. So, how strange does it seem to have to fix your relationships to have clear skin, but it's very important. Not choosing what is. So resisting your life as it is right now. We have to find a way to be happy right now, no matter what our circumstances. And so that's where your gratitude journal comes in really handy. Being too busy, just being busy. That was my problem. I was too busy most of my life. And as a result, I had breakouts. And so just being too busy, not resting enough. Sugar, of course, we know sugar is a huge, it creates a lot of inflammation in the body. In fact, I'm going to be on Dr. Moll's Diabetes Summit, and we're going to talk a lot about that, PCOS and diabetes, right? And a lot of women in our community are on metformin right now, and to manage blood sugar. And just know that you can do it naturally, right? Our nutrient system and our whole PCOS 5-element system is geared towards helping with insulin sensitivity and managing blood sugar and helping, helping you metabolize your hormones in a healthy way, replacing those missing nutrients. Infections, right? Chronic bacterial, viral infections, those are huge hormone deal breakers. And a lot of times we don't even know that we have one until you look at your white blood cells on your blood work. Anemias, so B12 or iron anemias are a big hormone deal breaker because they're so important for so many processes in the body. A lack of nutrients and so much more. I'm sure you can think of things that cause stress in your life that could be causing your acne. So I'm going to take a few minutes to go over the route back to clear, beautiful skin. I'm just going to touch on some of the highlights here, and then I'll show you how you can grab the PCOS acne solution if it's something that you want to learn more about. I might post that actually after the program today, as I'm not sure I can find it that quickly. But just take a moment to list the stressors that you are aware of in your life. If you have access to a pen and piece of paper right now, you can just write down a few things like, what are you tolerating right now that you would feel so much healthier if you resolved it, right? If you fixed a relationship, if you removed that stressor from your life, if you crossed it off your to-do list, right? If you, one thing that we did in the detox program is we made a list of things that we're doing now, things that we're not doing now, and things that we're never doing now, because that can pull your energy sideways and cause stress and inflammation. So, make lists of what are important to you right now, and then just do those things. I want to say that I said no to 3 big things this week. 3 big things. Right. And it's not easy to say no to things that are so awesome. My brother invited my husband and I to go to a concert up in San Francisco of, a singer I love. And I said no, because I didn't want to be out so late that I raised my inflammation and was exhausted the next day. I gave myself big brownie points for that one. And I was invited to play a very special tennis match yesterday, and I said no, because I have yoga on Mondays, and it's very important to my health and well-being, and so I declined. And what was the third thing I said no to? There was one more thing. I'm not sure I'm going to remember what it is right now, but I know that I'm canceling a tennis lesson on Friday so that I can save my body for competition this weekend. So you just have to look at your schedule and say no, even though it might hurt a little bit for a really short period of time. It'll save you in the long run. It'll lower that inflammation so that your skin is so much more beautiful. Cool. All right. Oh, Maria Rita, you're Italian. Oh, you're doing a great job. Don't worry. You're doing a great job. Yeah. Susie asks if I think inositol is a good add-on supplement. I think it can be. We've seen such great success with our Insulite nutrient system and our 5-element system that we have never added inositol into it. So it's just one more element. It's you could certainly try it, see what you notice. I never discourage it, and I do have a great inositol supplement that actually has myo-inositol and chiro-inositol. So it has both forms, which can be very, very helpful for women with PCOS. And it was actually created by one of my favorite functional practitioners, And so I'll give you the link to that, Susie, if you think it's something that you want to add in. So let's talk about the route back to clear, beautiful skin. So I just want to share with you, some of the science. So there are 5 steps that will help you achieve beautiful skin in no time, but they're non-negotiable, right? So if you don't follow the steps, you might not see the results you want to see. If you have acne, you're just genetically predisposed to it, right? You're genetically predisposed to that DHT androgenic pathway, which is just more potent. So if you don't really pay attention, it could be a hard journey. So just do the work, right? Do the work and you'll get the results. Yay. Okay, so here's the science. So acne can be regarded as an indicator disease of exaggerated insulin-producing Western nutrition. And that's a little bit of a big concept, but what it means is that when you stimulate the overproduction and activity of insulin through a poor diet, one of the outcomes is acne. So I've heard it described as diabetes of the skin before. And most women with PCOS actually have a genetic predisposition to insulin resistance already. So we have to be really, really careful about how we manage insulin, right? And so we can definitely do that through testing. You can see how you're doing. I love doing your own, let's see if I have it here on my desk. I don't. I do have my little True to Go booklet where I keep track of my glucose at times. So, if I'm struggling with anything, I will use my at-home glucose monitor, right? And I will just prick my finger and test my blood sugar before a meal to make sure that it's in a good range. And then I'll test about an hour after a meal to see how insulin resistant or how insulin sensitive I am. And if you had a really poor night's sleep the night before, chances are you're going to be much more insulin resistant the next day. It can happen that fast. And conversely, if you've taken really good care of yourself today and you've had a really good night's sleep tonight, then tomorrow you're going to be much more insulin sensitive. It's pretty cool. So you can get more insulin resistant very fast, but you can also get more insulin sensitive very fast. So there's a great tip for you. So high insulin stimulates the production of more potent androgens, which stimulates sebum production, which is necessary for the development of acne. So acne in women is considered as a manifestation of cutaneous androgenation. Okay, that's a really big word. And simply put, acne is caused by too many male hormones in the skin. So I'll put that up here. Caused by too many male hormones. You have to spell correctly in the skin, okay? And so some women with PCOS don't have acne. They don't suffer from acne, and that's because they have a faster cellular turnover, okay? So if you have PCOS but you don't suffer from acne, then you just have a faster cellular turnover with your skin. If your cell turnover is a little bit sluggish, your bacteria, which love you, are trapped under the skin with their favorite food, and that creates pustules and pimples. So let me share with you the 3 skin factors that make up acne. Number 1, clogged oil ducts from too much keratin in the skin. Number 2, too much sebum production from excess androgens, male hormones. And Propionibacterium acnes, also known as P. acnes. So these bacteria colonize in the follicles on the skin and cause acne and inflammation. So there's a bacteria, and it's called P. acnes. So it's a bacteria that causes acne. And that's where you get the redness in the skin. It was interesting. I actually went to she's not a dermatologist, but she actually is an RN who does all sorts of skin procedures. So she's more on the end of helping skin look beautiful. So maybe more an esthetician in a clinical setting. And she has a camera that that is, I think it's 3-sided, and she actually takes pictures of your skin all over, and so all the different places, and then she can see all the P. acnes on your skin. And it was really interesting to see mine. Like I could see like these little colonies of P. acnes on my skin, and I'm like, oh, that's why I used to get acne. It doesn't, I don't know. I don't think I'm providing their favorite food anymore because I just don't get acne, but it was really interesting to see. So you can go and have your picture taken with these cameras that show the P. acnes on your skin. It's really cool. Yeah, fried foods are definitely not a good choice, but mostly, Elizabeth, because fried foods are really bad fats, and they raise inflammation, right? They're very inflammatory. All right, so one of the big things is to keep our skin free of these P. acne. So Dr. Talmi Morelja, who is one of our medical directors, and she's also just she's double board certified as a dermatologist as well, and she says that if you're suffering from acne, your skin is delicious. So yeah, once in a while, if I'm really out of balance or I try something new, I can get acne again. And that's when I know, oh, this just isn't working for me, right? So the camera I was talking about is called a complexion analysis camera. So it's a complexion analysis camera. And that's where you can see the, how many P. acnes that you have on your skin and where they're located. And I think the best way to use it would be is to do an initial reading before you start making all these changes. And then after you make all these changes, then go back and see how you've improved, right? So I think that that would be a really awesome way to use the complexion analysis camera. So, so your job is to reduce inflammation first and foremost, and that means better management of the blood sugar hormone insulin. So insulin is a hormone that's produced in your pancreas that regulates the amount of glucose or sugar that's in your blood, right? So we're going to focus on keeping it low. So, so there are 4 markers on your blood work that you can run. In our Insulite panels, we have all of these blood work markers. One is glucose. So I'll type these out for you. So these are the blood work markers that you want to have run if you're trying to manage your, which is great, even if you don't suffer from acne, but you're still suffering from some symptoms of PCOS, then you definitely want to, really pay attention to insulin. So you're going to run, let me retype this because it's fasting, glucose, insulin, triglycerides, hemoglobin, A1C, and that's it. So those are the markers that you want to get on your blood work. And I'm going to tell you where you want them to be. So you want your fasting glucose to be between 75 and 85, right? You want your insulin, to be below 5. Below 3 is optimal, but if you can get yours below 5, that's great. Hemoglobin A1C, if you can get it below 5.4, that's ideal. So we're looking for optimal ranges. And then triglycerides, no more than 100 is good. So that's really important, okay? So definitely get that done on your blood work. And then let's see. So I really like the One Touch Ultra Mini Blood Glucose Monitoring System. There are a bunch on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. Just get like a traveling one. The little things that you prick your finger with are actually more expensive. They're what cost you money. Or no, it's not the things that you prick your finger with. It's the little reader strips that you put into the monitor that cost a lot of money. But it's really an important thing to do because then you can really start to manage your insulin so much better, right? And if you manage your insulin, now all of a sudden a lot of your symptoms of PCOS are going to clear up. So Let's see. So, with acne, you also get a lot of oil on your skin. And I always had a shine on my forehead. I purchased those blotting sheets that I carried around with me in my purse to soak up all the extra oil on my face. So that's something that you can carry around until your skin clears up. So the 5 steps are, number 1 is food. So you want to use whole real food. So eat a whole real food diet and identify your food sensitivities because you really want to reduce inflammation. The second step is get enough sleep. Sleep is really number 1 for reducing inflammation and healing the skin. And I show you how to do this all in the PCOS Acne Solution Guide. You want to exercise or move your body every day, but you want to do it in a way that's hormone balancing, and that's really, really important. So, too stressful of a type of exercise really creates a lot of inflammation, so it raises cortisol. And then additionally, not enough movement, right? If you don't move enough, then that's a problem too. And then balancing your hormones using essential nutrients, providing your body with the raw materials that it needs to function properly. So that would be, really great nutrients, the right foods, right? So your proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and then helping your body to remove toxins. Women with PCOS just tend to store more toxins. And then, using a lot of digestive support. Making sure your stomach acid is strong enough, making sure that you have good probiotics, a good microbiome, really good gut health, that your bowel movements are regular, all of that. And then there are all sorts of topical solutions. So number 1 is food, number 2 is sleep, number 3 is how you exercise, number 4 is providing essential nutrients and really working on balancing your hormones through toxin and digestive support, and then number 5 is topical, what you can put on topically. So, so those are sort of my my rules around getting clear, happy, healthy skin. And I would love to answer any questions you have. And again, the Acne Solution Guide will walk you through all of this in really great detail. And the really cool part of it is, so not only how to get really good sleep, but also all the medications that affect sleep. There are so many medications that affect sleep. I list, over 10 categories of medications that can affect your sleep, which, just wrecks your PCOS symptoms. And then the types of exercise that are important to do. This is just a terrific guide. I am so proud of this, just to help you in every way. And then, if you want to do more strenuous exercise, like, I compete in tennis. And so obviously that's not so hormone supportive at times. So I take certain nutrients to help me not only compete better, but recover better. So it's not this ongoing stressor for the rest of the week, right? So I can bounce back really fast. And let's see, it also contains which nutrients are really great for beautiful skin. The Insulite nutrients, some women, when they take our Insulite nutrients, their skin clears up. Right? They feel so much better because it supports everything, digestion and adrenal function, because we know that poor adrenal function, poor thyroid function really affect our skin health, and because it affects our glucose metabolism, right? And then some other nutrients for skin health, like fish oil is so, so important. And then all my topical suggestions. So you really want to work on the inside, but then there's some things that you can do on the outside that really help. If you've tried everything, there is one protocol in here that will knock it out completely, no matter what. So I will definitely share that link with you to pick up the PCOS Acne Solution Guide if that's something that you that would really support you. So what questions do you have? I'm getting those tests done, and I will let you know results. Great. Thanks, Elizabeth. That would be wonderful to see. You can definitely post those. And then Susie asks for great topicals. So it kind of depends, Susie, but I have a whole list of things that you can try. So from do-it-yourself face creams to things that you can... So there are whole protocols on what to wash with first, second, third, fourth. There are different things that you can try. So I kind of have start here and then go here and then go here if you're not seeing the results that you want to see. And, acne does not age discriminate. So, like I said, I had acne in my teens, and then I had acne in my 40s, and sort of had bouts of it, a lot of my life. So, and then some women just get it, later when they're in perimenopause, and then some women get it postmenopausal. So it's just a sign, right, that your hormones are out of balance, or that your body's out of balance. And it's kind of cool to know, because then we know that we need to fix something, because something's going on inside as well, right? Maria Rita says, do you think cardio increases stress? I absolutely do. Yes. So, so when I do my, when I play my competitive tennis, that is more, it is cardio for sure. And I have to say I've been playing singles more, because we just don't have ladies on our team who like to play singles. It is a lot more strenuous. It's a lot more stressful. It takes a lot more energy, and I'm out of breath most of the time because I'm really not in great shape for singles. But like I say, I have a lot of tools in my toolbox that I can use. I have a lot of great nutrients that I use on the court. And so if you use those, in fact, in the PCOS acne guide, I give you, there's one nutrient that I just love for helping to manage stress if you have to do cardio for some reason. But it's called phosphatidylserine, and my favorite is the PS 150 that we sell on our store. And I use that because it helps to modulate cortisol. It's actually a brain nutrient, but it actually helps to modulate cortisol so that it's not a stressful event. Your exercise is not stressful. And I'll, after this program today, I'll reply to you, Maria Rita, and give you the link to that, because it'll really help. It'll help you recover too, so that your body doesn't stay in the stress mode for the rest of the day, because how you do your day is how you do your night, right? So if you have a really stressful day, you're gonna have a really stressful night. So you want to really manage your day so that you have just a beautiful, flowing, easy day. Yeah, and I will definitely write the name for you. All right, so let's see, are there any other questions or any other thoughts around acne? Yeah, great. Great. Well, it's been so great being here with you today. I just really appreciate you showing up. I love your comments. Please share with anybody who might benefit from this episode, and please like, and I'm just, again, so grateful that you showed up here today, and I look forward to meeting you here next week. All right. Bye, everyone.